In our last video, I showed you how to copy and move files between different folders. In this video, I want you to see that you can actually do the same thing with folders too, not just with files, but also with folders. So for instance, I have this on my this folder called Legal Docs or Leg Docs. That's kind of a funny name. And it's on my flash drive. But maybe I think that it really belongs inside of my English folder. I could do a Control X and Control V for copy and paste, but I can also just drag and drop it. I can click on it one time and then drag it up and drop it on top of the English folder. Now it looks like I deleted it. It looks like it's gone. But if I double click on English, there it is. So now I have on my flash drive these two folders, which each have subfolders. And look down here in the navigation pane. You'll see that I now have these two subfolders that are immediately within the flash drive. And see, remember these little arrows? They are telling me that both of these folders have subfolders. So I can click there to see the legal docs, and I can click there to see the homework and in-class notes. And this way you can see how there's sort of a hierarchy to the way these things line up. Now, I think it would be useful to also show you how you can rename things. For instance, that leg docs is kind of strange. It's kind of bizarre. So let's go into the English folder. And for leg docs, let's make it legal docs. We have to make that a little more professional. So I'll click on it one time to select it. And then I'll click on it one more time to go into an edit mode. You do not double click a fast double click to do this. If you double click on something, you open it up. But if you click it one time to select it, and then wait a second, and then click it a second time, you go into an edit mode. Now, I don't want to have to retype the whole thing, so I'll just click my mouse right there. And do you see now I have a flashing cursor? And I can type the letters A and L to make that legal instead of leg docs. Now I'll press my Enter key, and I have renamed that folder. I could do the same thing with a file. Let's go back out here. I'll go into my math folder, into my in-class notes folder, class notes for math 3-1-20. Maybe our teacher wants us to use the full year assignation. So not just 20, but 2020. So again, I will click one time to select it. I'll wait a heartbeat. Then I'll click a second time to go into an edit mode. Now here I need to be careful. If I start typing, everything that's there will disappear. But if I take my mouse and click where I'd like to have a cursor, click right there, then I can type 20. So now I have class notes for math 3-1-2020 and press my Enter key. So I've just moved a folder in a similar fashion to the way I moved a file, except this time I dragged and dropped instead of Control X and Control V. And I also renamed a file and I renamed a folder. So I've done a lot of things with my files and folders. The only thing I haven't done yet is I haven't deleted anything. So let me back up to my math level here. And maybe I want to go into my homework folder. And you and I both know that this little file that I created in the last video was not really very important. So I would like to delete it. I can just tap the delete key on my keyboard. If I do that, it will disappear immediately. And by the way, you need to know that when you delete something off of a flash drive, it does not go to the recycle bin. It's a permanent deletion. If you delete something off of your hard drive, it goes into your recycle bin so you can live to regret. But when you delete something off of a flash drive, it is gone. So for instance, I'm going to delete this my budget data, which we know is really not very important. Instead of just tapping the delete key on my keyboard though, which is one thing I could do, I'm going to right click on it. And when I right click, remember I get a list of options. And these are all options that relate to files. And what I want to do is to delete the file. So I'll left click on the delete command. Notice, are you sure you want to permanently delete this file? This is not going to my recycle bin. This is going to be gone. But I'll say, yes, I want it gone. So now I have deleted that file. We have learned a lot in these videos. We've learned to get into the File Explorer. We've learned to create folders and subfolders. We've learned to put files inside of those folders. We've learned to move them around, move around the files, move around the folders. We've learned to rename objects on our screen, and we've learned to delete them. With those skills, you really have all the skills you need to be a competent and good file management person. Enjoy it.